Hi guys, I wanted to come on today and show you how to go about building a stacked garden for Wizard 101. The benefits to gardening are really great. The mega snacks alone make it worth your time and your effort, because if you want to get mega snacks for your pets so that you can raise your pets up quicker without having to spend your crowns, this is the best way to do it. Right now it is a double rewards weekend, which makes it even better, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm at the Red Barn Farm, and I'm here because all plants like the Red Barn Farm, so you automatically have a like for your plants. The garden that I'm doing today is a medium stacked garden, and you'll need a low square table. You can get this table in Mushu, and you will need 8 boxes. Uh, Most any kind of boxes will work. The only ones I think that don't work are anything that has like the chicken's heads coming out of it, or the crates that have the tall crates. I don't even know what they're called, but these are like crates of pies, or this one is a crate of hot dogs. They work fine. So any of these type of crates will work really well. You're also going to want a flag of some sort. This is a Marleybone flag. You can just get it at the bazaar. You can get the crates at the bazaar. The low table, if you can't find it at the bazaar, then you can get it in Mushu at the furniture shop. It's called the low square table. The other flag is another option, and it's just a plain flag. I don't normally like to use that kind of flag because of the wide base, and you'll see why in just a bit for that. So I've got the garden started, essentially, and what I did was just once you stack these crates onto the low square table, then you can just move the low square table. See, and it moves all the crates with it. So the idea is you start your garden, go to the very tip of where your garden will allow those crates to go. See, it turns red. So you go to the very tip and move it out just a hair, and then you would set your first plot of soil. And you can see I don't have a plot of soil right there. I did originally start with a plot, and then I just moved over and I saw where the soil was going to land. The soil lands right on the upper square. So I knew where my soil was going to land then, and I started going across, and I just added each set of soil, lining it up. Then I moved up a row, and I did 4 opposite of this, and I took away that one square there as soon as I had placed my 5th, and I went over here and placed my 6th. So I have a row of 4, and then I'm going to have 3 rows of 6, and then I will do a row of 4 again. This is because that way it will place itself perfectly in the large feeding circle. Now I know I don't have a space in the middle yet for my flag, but I will when we're done. So we're going to go ahead and just keep lining up the soil. I have found that it's a lot easier to line up if you're not on a mount. Sometimes it's difficult to get them just where you want them to go, and that's okay. If you're having a hard time with it, you just move it again. And just keep switching back and forth. I know that should work. Okay, let's see. I don't have it over far enough this way. I think that's going to be too far. There it goes. and then you just plant. Move it again. And plant. Okay, I'm going to do one more row. This time my row is only going to have 4 on it. So I want to line it up here. Having a garden is great for a lot of reasons, not just the mega snacks. If you're low on gold, it also gives you lots of little snacks so that you can go sell those. Some of the plants give you a lot of blades, so if you're needing a lot of blades or you're big into PvP, that's really good. Some of the plants give you a lot of spells, so that helps. And they even give you items, housing items, so especially ones that they tend to like. The garden that I'm preparing this for is, sorry, I'm trying to concentrate while I talk to you guys, is the sword ferns. And I like sword ferns because they give a mega snack that's called ambrosia. And the ambrosia and the fancy yogurts are, in my opinion, the 2 easiest snacks to feed your pets to get them everything that they need. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to move the table to the center again so that I can see if my circle will fit around it. And you can see the circle goes completely around. Oh, because it's the box. So I was going to say, it almost doesn't get that, but it does go completely around. So then the next step that we need to do is take off the top layer of our boxes. So I want to move this to where it is directly underneath my last square that I built. I want to be sure. I think that's right. Let's find out. Yes, okay, so see, it's directly underneath because that fits right on top of that. And by going directly underneath it, it makes it easier to line up your next set because you want to take off this top layer of crates, just the top layer. And now you're already set to go ahead and set down your second layer. So we start here. And then you're just going to do the same pattern in reverse. Okay, so that should give you guys an idea of how to set it up and how to get it going. I'm going to pause the video and finish building this part out, and I'll come back on and show you how to do the bottom layer. See you in a bit. Okay guys, we're back, and I have now got my middle row all finished, and you can see it's all lined up very well with the top row. So it's time to do the bottom row. Now, some gardeners will just take away the boxes and the table and put the bottom row straight down on the ground itself, which works fine. Personally, I like to take away the boxes. Uh-oh. Give me just a second. I got to empty my backpack a little bit. Okay. I like to take away the boxes and leave the table. Now, I actually try to line it up using the table, and I plant as close to underneath as I can, and you can see right now that's way too far to the right, so I need to move my table over. Okay, that's lined up on this side, and it looks pretty good on this side, so I'm going to go ahead, and you can plant right into the table itself. To me, this part is the hardest part. See, you just line it up with the one right next to it. And keep moving it over. Now, because I've set my garden right next to the edge, it helps me line it up because it's going to turn red if I go too far one direction. I think I'm still okay with that. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. We just want to get it as close as possible so that they can all still get fed. Now, I will say that stacked gardens are considered a glitch in Wizard 101. Therefore, if you have any problems with them, the support team will not help you with those problems. And that's too far up. Really, the only problems that I have had is if you try mixing the large and small and medium plots all together. A lot of times when you do that, you will find that it won't allow you to plant some of the plants. But that's really been the only problem that I have run into with a glitched stacked garden. And it's not that Wizard 101 will get you in trouble for having one. I have talked to them. What they say is that they are aware that a lot of the wizards have stacked gardens and other glitches in the game, and that though they don't condone the practice, they do not punish for it either, but they won't support it. So if you decide to do a stacked garden, it's okay. You're not going to get in any trouble for having one. But if you run into issues, don't expect them to fix the problem. Okay, so now you've got the idea of how we're going to do the bottom layer. So I am going to pause it again and finish it off. Okay, I've just about finished off the bottom layer. And you can see I'm still lining them up. The hardest part is lining up just directly in the center, because when you move your table around, you can't hardly see. So you just have to keep running around and running around until you can see where it's lined up the best. And it, like I said again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be lined up the best that you can. And I'm on my last row. And you see here I'm out of energy again. So what I do for energy, because I know that's going to be the next question you ask, is I play Grub Guardian. And Grub Guardian gives me a lot of gold and a lot of different elixirs, the Melinda's Green Thumb Pack, a lot of those, but it also gives you energy. So this is where I get my energy from. And it refills my energy. Anyway, I was just going to come on and tell y'all that so that you could see. I'm almost through though. Hang in there with me. Okay, my garden is all done, and I've taken my flag and moved it as close to the center as I could get it. The only thing important to know about, and it doesn't have to be a flag, you could put anything tall standing in the center that you want. You just have to make sure that your large circle, when you take your mouse and travel up that pole, your large circle, well, it doesn't want to grab it, there we go, has to be able to cover your entire garden. So, and you always place the circle just below that second row, and then run around and make sure that most of your garden plots are going to fall at least halfway within that circle, and they do. So we are good to go on planting. Now the next thing to remember when you're planting a garden like this is if the plants that you are primarily going to be using, like this is going to be my sword fern garden, so I know that there are two plants that my sword fern likes. These are the sword ferns. I know it likes the grapes of wrath, and I didn't get one of the big fancy grapes of wrath. I just want a plain one because they grow a little bit quicker and they have less needs. So I want to put it in my garden first, and I want it where it'll do the most good as far as reaching all of my plants with just the one grapes of wrath. The only thing is that I'll have to be very careful when I am harvesting my sword ferns not to accidentally harvest the grapes of wrath or the honeysuckle, which is the other one that they like. If you do, you just plant another one. I've accidentally harvested those several times, and I grow them out until they get to harvest or turn to ghost, and I just leave them at ghost, and I work with my sword ferns around them. That way, after the plants will still like them, regardless of whether they're at a harvest stage or not. You'll still get the like off of them. And then I have put out some other things that I know my sword ferns are going to like, so I'm going to move those over. They like the sword tree. Put this one over here. And I think I have, yes, I have one more. And I'm going to put it up towards the front so that all of my plants will be covered with it. And then they like the little garden gnomes. Now, some people will glitch their boxes and put a rug up on the very top of the garden, um, and put all the lights way up tall, up and out of the way. I like to put a lot of mine underneath on the ground. You see them down in there? I don't know if y'all can see those or not. They're right up in there, peeking out. But that way they're not taking up space, but they are where all of my plants will like them. And I cannot remember which one of these weapon racks, but one of the weapon racks my sword ferns are going to like. So I want to put it back behind here. I may have to try all three of them. Okay, and now I'm ready to start planting my sword ferns. I'll plant the first one. And then I am going to go to my utility spells and do plant all. Yes. And that plants all the ones that I have. I have to go harvest the rest of them out of my other garden. The whole reason I was building this garden was to move from a house that they didn't like over to this house. I will show you though. As you can see, it shows that they like the garden gnomes, they like the grapes of wrath, they like the honeysuckle, they like the sword tree, and they like this house. I just have to figure out which one of the weapon racks they like and put it over there. And then when they get a little older, I'll put a pixie on them, and they like the pixie as well, and that will give them all of their likes, and they will grow very happy for that. So that's it, guys. That's how you make a stacked garden in Wizard 101, and you feed them and where to get the energy to tend to them and what to do about putting out their likes. And as they grow and you harvest them, they also will give you some of their likes. The sword trees, that's where I got those. A lot of the other likes, of course, the little gnomes are in the bazaar or at Wizard City. Every plant has a different like or dislike, so you have to research those. But that's it. I hope this was helpful to somebody out there that might have wanted to learn how to do it. I hope y'all have a great week. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.